Hello and welcome back to another episode of Be a Quirky Writer. Now today, finally, I'm going to be speaking about writing and about publishing. And to give a brief yet simple and elegant answer to the question that I posed within the title, is this how you publish? Absolutely fucking no. But this is how I managed to publish a few short stories, so I wanted to share my experience. Now you have to consider that I'm making this video because about a month ago I managed to publish this short story with Flash Fiction magazine online, and I did receive some positive comments, so I decided, why not, let's just make a video and share the experience that I have until this point. Now, about a year ago, I decided to start submitting short stories to online magazines, online English magazines, because beforehand I was writing only in Italian. So I decided to make some tests. Now, at the time, I had about, I would say, 10 short stories. Now I have about 15 of them, between short and medium length stories. And let me give you the stats. Now, I have statistics, I do not have graphs or pie charts because that would be too much of a hassle and too much work, but I do have stats. Now, most of the online magazines, they tell you beforehand, if you read through their description and whatnot, that they have an acceptance rate of about 0.5 to 2%. So out of 100 story, half a story to 2 story maximum get in, right? And that is the basic statistics for most of them. Now consider this. In the last year, I sent about 65 submissions, and yes, I did count them, to about, I would say, 51 different literary magazines. I still have 10 stories that are pending, so I still have to get an answer for them. And yeah, that's the basic statistics. The basic stats. If I managed to publish 4 short stories, but again, it was 4 short stories divided between 2 literary magazines, I would say that I'm doing pretty good. That would be like almost 4%, I guess, if you do the math. Hopefully, never do math online, but whatever. So here was my approach. I preferred quantity over quality. It's not to say that I don't have time to read the specifics for the literary magazine that I'm sending my short story to. I read what they do, so they either do, I don't know, fantasy or sci-fi or introspective literature or flash fiction, and I decided on a piece that I have already written and I submit it to them. And I just do this until I receive a no. So after, I know, 1 month, it can be 1 week, 1 month, even 2 or 3 months later, I receive the reply. Either it's meant to be published or not, and that's the basics. Those are the basics of the process. Now, as I said, I valued more quantity because quality would imply reading every single story or reading most of the stories that they publish, or some at least of the stories that they publish, get an understanding for their tastes, and then tailoring a story to the magazine itself, and then seeing if you will be published or not. And in my opinion, that clashes with my style because I do have my particular way of writing, and I would not like to tailor something as to the needs of someone else. You either appreciate my story, and then let's just say that I revise those bits and pieces of grammar or of lingo or whatever, or you just don't like my story, and that's it. I will search for another magazine that does. I did receive about 5 or 6, even a bit more, of pieces of feedback from some of these literary magazines, and they were more or less similar. Like, yes, some of the premises are good, maybe you should emphasize this rather than that. And I did try to incorporate some of those suggestions either within those stories or within my journal writing, because that is what writing is. It is a continuous process. So that is what no one tells you. It's the work behind what you actually see, behind the published end story, right? It is tedious. And again, I already spoke about Hemingway within this channel. Writing at best, it's a lonely job. Blah blah blah. You get that, but that's not what I'm trying to tell you today. So, what am I trying to say? It's that hard work that makes it a challenge, but that would imply the question: why continue writing then? Is it because you want to leave a message? Well, yes, that is also part of why writers write. It is part of who we are. We do want our words, our written words, to be heard and read and heard. But in my opinion, it is much more than that. It is also the challenge, the fact of seeing that time after time again, you see doors that are shutting in your face, and then you just try to open another one and another one and another one until you get to that point where you eventually succeed. It's not easy and it is not guaranteed, but there is satisfaction in that perseverance. And I think that is more or less that gratification is something that, as an author, I'm searching for. It is much more a personal sense of gratification rather than someone else actually telling you did a good job. And that is something that, a consideration, if you will, that in my opinion is important. Tell me what you think about my approach. Do you consider that quality would be a much more suitable approach, or don't? Just, I don't know, put a like if you will, or a dislike if the dislike button still exists. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to breathe, don't forget to smile. Have a nice one.